I don't think I would have been granted this opportunity. That sounds so terrible. I'm not grateful for this opportunity, but like, I don't think I would have been, I don't think I would have been able to have so much sex if it weren't for the internet. I'm Ariel. I'm 28. I live in Brooklyn and I use online dating, sadly. I think earlier on when online dating first came out, I think maybe in the major cities, especially New York, LA, they were really, really big. It wasn't so much of a hookup culture yet. It was like Match.com was for the 30-year-olds and up who wanted to pay for their memberships and get married. And OkCupid came out and it was like this platform for a younger demographic that wanted a free membership and was a little more adventurous, perhaps. So I joined OkCupid. I remember it just started pretty much. I decided I'm going to put myself out there. Like, casual sex was never a thing I've done. Hookups was never a thing I've done. I didn't feel comfortable with my body like that. So I'm 28 now. This was like, I must have been 21, 20. And I was really just like getting to know just sex and like dating beyond like what your college boyfriend was like. And I don't know, I lost my virginity to my first like real boyfriend. So this was new territory. This one date that like never really left my memory was when I was in this peak dating mode. I had been on maybe 2 other dates that week. And I think it was a Friday night, like it was prime real estate for the week, Friday or Saturday. And that's like also a no-no. Like if you want to go out on a Friday or Saturday, that person must be really special. Something about our conversation was flowing. I mean, we must have had like a very high compatibility rate. I knew he was a little older. My age range was probably set, if I was 21 at the time, I think I might have set it off at like 40, which might have been too old for my parents' opinion of this, but I was mature for my age, so I was like 40 will be fine, you know. They're not really mature till they're like 35 anyway. He worked in music. I knew we'd have stuff to talk about. I had recently just worked for a record label as an intern and was like really into the scene and going to shows. So that was something that made me feel comfortable about meeting up with him in person. Like, the conversation won't go flat. So we went to this wine bar. And again, I don't know shit about wine. But we finished maybe 2 bottles of wine, like, in record time. And we've talked, you know, the conversation was good. Like, everything was actually ideal in a strange way. So I was like, you know, I live in the area. Maybe I did the thigh grope. I'm not sure. But I said, do you want to come over? He says, of course, I would love that. And I'm like, hey, do you have a condom? You know, I don't know what we're getting into here. Has one in his pocket, but not only a condom. Traveled with his mouth guard. So, that I was stunned. I was kind of like, wow, that's not like, you know, like wallet, keys, what is the saying, you know, like mouth guard. So he's got his mouth guard, he's got his condoms, he's in my apartment. He reveals to me that it is his 40th birthday that night. And all of a sudden I'm stunned, like, wait, you've got to be shitting me. First of all, I'm like drunk, but why would you celebrate your birthday with me? This is a big landmark birthday, 40. I'm like going to be in Hawaii, hopefully. But, you know, where are your friends? This was the question, you know, this is when things started to get weird. Like, what? Maybe he thought in his weird mind that like this guaranteed sex for him. I'm not sure. So I didn't really care. We were flowing. The conversation was adequate. It was beyond, it was good, you know. So I was like, I'll give daddy that. So you know, we're getting intimate. The lights are off and he's got his condom on. I guess he has his mouth guard on, which I thought might have gone on later, but went on early. And somehow in the middle of this madness, he loses the mouth guard. And we have no idea where it went. We're like, we're like looking all over my bed for it. I'm looking under the sheets. We like took the fitted sheet off somehow, you know, who knows. I had cats at the time, so there's cat hair under my bed. I'm like fishing through the dust and cat hair to try to see if the mouth guard is stuck in there somehow. We finally find it and try to go back into our, you know, sexual phase of humping kind of sloppily. And next thing you know, he finishes, but the condom is nowhere to be found. And we search again for this condom and we can't find it at all. I had to take Plan B the next day. I'm panicked. You know, you dig so far up and you just don't feel anything. You kind of give up. So, I mean, we did the cat hair search, we did the sheet search, it just wasn't anywhere. But so next morning, you know, he's like, you want to get breakfast or whatever? And I'm like, no, I'm really good, I'm fine. You know, you got to go, basically. He leaves. But I make it clear, like, I'm going now to buy Plan B, you fucking asshole. So I go across the street to do the embarrassing deed of buying Plan B, which is probably like buying Band-Aids nowadays. But I buy it. He does not reimburse. Venmo was not around. But I paid for this, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what a disaster. I could be pregnant by this 40-year-old man on his birthday. It could have been like his pregnancy child. And I'll never allow someone like that back into my bedroom. That's when things started to get a little more regimented. You know, you lay down the law, you have standards. That's when it started. With the introduction of online dating and OkCupid, then Tinder, now Bumble, you know, you learn how to A, market yourself, B, feel comfortable with the idea of having sex with someone that you weren't introduced to by your friend. You know, you're doing all the work, they're doing all the work. It's an equal playing field, and that's like opening you up. In general, you're more vulnerable, but it's a little more equal there. Like, I learned so much about what I will and will not tolerate, what turns me on, what doesn't, who I will let in, what are the age ranges that are actually safe for me. Maybe I did a little too much trial and error with like actual experiments, but I definitely know now, you know, maybe what people see me swiping now when I'm on these things and they're like, gosh, she goes so fast. And I'm like, you would too. If you've seen what I've seen, like, you just know what your limits are.
Did you ever find a condom?
Yes. Oh, sorry. So, you know, like you pee it out like 2 days later or something. It was deep in the cut.